Hey, so welcome back to the podcast. Today I've got two great coaches helping their clients move the needle, and their own business, by the way, moving the needle on YouTube, creating views and sales volume. We're going to talk about video advertising. We're going to talk about video search in the next sort of iteration of how we can build our brands and ultimately grow our business. So I've got two great coaches, David Caldwell, Patrick Ferry. So fellas, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hold back your enthusiam.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
I mean, you made fun of me last week about how I talk, so I'm just going to keep it going.
Exactly. Okay, so DC, give me a little background. How long have you been in the business, and how long have you been doing YouTube specifically? Before we get into it, and same question. Okay. So
I started selling real estate in 2007, and then I
Great
started
timing.
dabbling. Yep, great timing. Started dabbling in YouTube. I think my channel is actually like 10 years old, but I didn't really start doing videos until 2020. I sat in the back at Summit at 2017 when you were saying, do this. On Amazon, I ordered a camera. I didn't open it for like a year.
yeah.
Yes.
And then it's like 2 more years before I started filming video, but I got serious about it really towards the end of last year, end of 2020.
So people have context for why this matters to you today. Give us the results you produce for your own business before we talk about our clients and everything else.
Yeah, so I looked for listings taken year to date in my target markets are up 160%.
Wow.
So that's been the
like,
result of the views.
160% could mean you had like 1.6 listings and
More
you
than
went to 16.
more than $250,000 in GCI. Another it was 26 additional listings in our target market. But what we didn't realize that this strategy was going to impact our past clients that live in those areas,
Right.
And our sphere that lives in that area,
totally.
and just this abundance of referral opportunities we're starting to get now.
Right. So we're going to break down all this, and we're going to look at their YouTube channels. We're going to discuss the hacks, the things that they're doing. So Patrick, same question, how long now in the business, and then how long doing YouTube, whether it's for yourself or your clients? Give us the scoop.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the clients, because that's really what I got fascinated by.
Yes.
So I think it's been about a year and a half. And actually, you and I were at the same conference, and I was really looking deeply into SEO, because I was like, how are we going to get our clients to be in the #1 position for their city name?
Right.
And we're at a conference together, and I talked to one of the top SEO guys in the industry, and I was like, hey, how are we going to get our clients to be the #1 position?
Yeah.
And he said, you should look into YouTube SEO.
Right.
And I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And that was, I think, 2 years ago or whatever. So that launched me into the journey. So ever since, I just kind of started my own YouTube channel just to kind of figure it out as a coach, not as a realtor. So I was like, let me just play with this thing. And then I started going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I started getting my coaching clients to do it. And that has been fascinating. So we're going to look at a couple examples, because we need to talk about the money that these guys have been making. And we're going to look at some examples of what their channels look like, what the videos are, and how they work. So we'll get into it. It's going to be awesome.
And the key to this show is we've got organic and we've got paid advertising, and probably the combination of the two is really the secret sauce.
Yep.
I'm super excited about the paid.
Oh yeah.
So this is my next, that's going to be my next venture.
Yes. All right. So we're actually going to look at, so if you're looking now, looking at Dave's channel. So again, give us a little insight here. We got 178 subscribers. We're actually looking at TubeBuddy, which is giving us a little assessment of, his channel traffic, all that kind of good stuff. Got 142 videos. 335,000 all-time views. Last 30 days, though, 26,000 views from 2 videos alone. So either he's putting out content that is just ridiculously rocking, or he's putting money behind content. Which one is it?
I'm putting money behind content.
All right. So give us your original hypothesis before we start breaking down some of these videos and like the results and what you're doing and how you're doing it. What was your original thought behind this?
So my original thought was, how can I create frequency in my market, which is going to create the relevancy, right? We talk about it all the time.
Yep.
And looking at like my lead pillars, how can I combine my farm and online marketing? So basically create this digital layer of farming.
Yeah.
And I looked at a lot of clients that were creating really great content, and they had views, but they didn't have an abundance of views. And if if Disney creates a beautiful movie, right? People are going to go watch it without advertising. More people go watch it with advertising.
Right.
Every company builds a part of their base based on marketing.
100%.
So Facebook had made all these changes. YouTube didn't, or Google didn't get stuck with the same changes.
Right.
So I could go on Google.
Or you can geo-target, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can say, hey, in my city, like I live in outside of Portland, I will sell real estate in Portland. I focus on a suburb. There's not enough search inquiries for me to create relevancy, to create frequency.
Yes.
But YouTube's Creator Academy, because I went through it, it's free.
Yep.
It says one way to build your channel and audience is through ads. So I said, okay, I can go in the city of Tigard, target homeowners specifically. And, my 2021 business plan was, well, if I go spend $18,000 and create 500,000 views, 250,000 views, which on average would be about 500 minutes of watch time, is there any downside?
So $18,000 for 500,000 views. And was that a formula? You knew that in advance. So as people are listening, they're going to be like, is he making this up? Is he making up the number, or did you know?
Yeah, in 2020, what I realized in testing, because 2020 was like the testing year.
Yep.
I think I bought about 60,000 views. What I found was I was spending between 3 cents and 5 cents per view. And then as I had clients start testing it, it was the same thing.
Wow. Do you know what cheap 3 cents is?
It's amazing.
So
for your face, your advertising, your company name, your brand, when people are spending millions of dollars on television. And let's face it, everybody that's watching, this is the television now.
And on average, I always joke that I have the most boring channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's boring.
I didn't say yes, like you're boring.
No, that's my joke. It's boring.
I would say it's boring.
Because it's just market updates.
It's just market updates.
Yes.
It's just telling a story about the market.
Yeah. Here, I'm clicking on it. No, actually, I was watching this one yesterday, and let's see if I can get some volume here. So
really seen a decrease in opportunity for our clients that are searching for homes with new listings declining, because there are some carryover listings from the last couple months that haven't gone pending. So it feels like we're just kind of dealing with the same thing that we've been dealing with all year, which is, there isn't this tremendous abundance of listings, but I haven't had any clients go homeless. Everyone's been able to find something on some time horizon.
Thank goodness none of your clients have gone homeless.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's boring content. Like these ones are even more boring, but it's funny. We're starting to retarget our clients.
Yeah. This is one of your longer ones too, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm doing this one as like a Zoom to showcase agents on my team. And that's just talking about the market. This is kind of our staple piece, like the monthly how's the market.
And I'm a principal real estate broker with Hillshire Realty Group at eXp Realty. And today we're going to review 5 points that you need to know about the Tigard housing market.
I love the skateboard, by the way.
97223 and 97224. Over the past 12 months, the average sales price has increased by almost 14% to $522,604. During the month of August, the average list price to sales price ratio was roughly 103%, meaning the average seller received almost 3% above their listed price. But over the past 90 days, the average list price.
Okay, so this has 15,860 views, only 3 thumbs up. I'm just curious from.
So
and no comments.
Yeah. And it's almost 2 minutes long, and the average person watches this video for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Say that one more time, because it's a very important distinction, especially when we're talking about video and advertising.
It's a 2 minute long video. And the average person on this video, because I just checked, spends 1 minute and 30 seconds watching the video. And I've spent $500 on this video. So when you think about the watch time, right? Someone's going to click through. By the way, I only pay for a view if they watch 30 seconds.
Right.
That's why
an important distinction.
That's why in the beginning of every video, I don't say, hey, we're talking about the real estate market. I say, hey, this is David Caldwell with Hillshire Realty Group. Because when I call you on the phone, I want you to hear, hey, this is David Caldwell with Hillshire Realty Group, regardless of whether or not I paid for you to view it.
Right.
Now, this is really boring content unless you're in action. And my delusion as a realtor and as a coach is that if I can become the authority on speaking about the market, you're not going to ask somebody else.
Right.
And most of my clients, I tell them every week, you're just not having enough conversations about the market, because every sale starts with a conversation about the market.
Right.
So that's what this video is. And, about 220,000 views that we've quote unquote purchased this year have been for that video, which is not searchable. It's not likable.
Right.
Surprisingly, people do subscribe. I mean, we do get subscribers off this content. But I could never create that attention with postcards. I could never actually create that attention even interviewing people in my community. You know, there's 50,000 people in my community. There's 3,000 transaction sides a year.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just trying to create the frequency, the over and over. You see me everywhere.
Right.
You know, I go to a restaurant and someone's like, "You're the real estate guy," right? That's what I'm trying to create.
They're like, "Where's your skateboard?"
Yeah, exactly.
Is that Conor McGregor in the back of your? Do you ever get that stuff? Do people ask you?
You know, I advertise sometimes specifically against like UFC, like the UFC.
I know you do. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, like that stuff does come up. I've become more comfortable, like even showing my tattoos, which I haven't always been comfortable with that. Right. So yeah, it does come up in play. And look, we run another ad in conjunction all the time, which is selling your home with Hillshire Realty Group.
Yes.
And then we run another one, which is when to buy, when to wait, which is what we believe about buying real estate.
Yes.
So instead of like the average realtor doing proof of success over and over, look at me, I just sold this house testimonial, everyone has it.
Yep.
My belief is that the average real estate broker cannot tell you the average sales price in their market. So that's become one of my scripts when I talk to someone in an open house. Is if someone can't tell you the average sales price or they can't get you that information quickly, you shouldn't buy a house from them. Now we're telling.
How does that land? By the way,
they
I
probably
love
it.
Oh,
yeah.
They probably love it.
Everyone loves like someone who speaks with confidence, right?
For sure, and the authority, and you have the data, and you have the numbers.
Yeah. So it's like this stuff has helped me, my team, my coaching clients really become the authority in the market. One of my clients, Marley Presswood, she does these videos. She has agents that call her and talk to her about her outlook on the market. What happens when she goes and negotiates with them in the future? Right. She wins.
Yes.
So, you know, going back
to that Marley from the Carolinas. Yeah. I just ran into her in Dallas. By the way,
she was
at
texting.
dinner.
She was texting me.
Super.
Yeah,
fun.
I said, "Text me if Tom buys you dinner," and then she texted me, "Tom bought me dinner."
Of course.
So,
well, it's because you text me and said, "Buy her dinner." No, I'm just kidding, Marley. I'm just kidding. Yes.
So, you know, going back, like I couldn't create the frequency organically. It just wasn't going to happen in my target market. There aren't enough search queries. Google rewards you paying for advertising. They just do, and they make it easy for you. And I get to put my message in front of who I want, which is homeowners.
Right. And
when you look at the demographics, if we could pull up demographics, you would see we can't because I'm not signed in. If we looked at demographics, you'd see that like my audience is the age of a homeowner. They're in their late 30s, early 40s, and you know, a huge mistake I've made, because I'm sure that's coming. I didn't spend enough money. I should have spent more money on this earlier. Because, you know, I'll spend 50 cents on a postcard all day that someone looks at for 4 seconds. How many postcards can I send out for 3 cents where someone watches it for a minute 30?
100%.
Right. And literally, everything works, but at the end of the day, video first marketing, always and forever, from television, from radio when it was only audio to now television. This is the game. So I want to just go back. You said digital layer of my farming, right? Using advertising, which is what everybody does. YouTube Creator Academy, which you went and did the training there. I know we actually sent people to it, which is awesome. And then you're targeting homeowners, but you said 2020 was my testing period.
Yeah.
So take us back to that. What specifically were you testing? I think that'll be interesting for the people that are listening and watching right now. So what were you testing and what did you learn?
Well, you know, marketers ruin great marketing.
Yes.
Right. So like I remember talking to Jason, maybe it was like 2018 about like Facebook's changes, or 2019. I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend money there anymore.
Yeah.
And then we did Google display ads.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people started doing those. I'm like, well, I want more. And by the way, I'm running Google display ads in conjunction with this.
Of course.
So it was kind of just saying like, hey, is this going to work? Because people aren't doing it. But everyone, if you go on YouTube anywhere, you see big advertisers spending money there.
Of course.
So, you know, every year I set money aside in my marketing budget to test, you know, and just see what happens.
Love it.
And then go all in it. The single change that we made in 2021 is this. And listings are up for us 160%. This time last year, we're at like 30 million closed and pending. Year to date, we're at 60 million closed and pending.
Wow.
This is the single change.
I was going to ask, like, for context, because people would say, well, did he double down on his past clients more?
No.
Are more people moving in his market? Is the increase? All right.
Yeah.
So
months of inventory is the same in our marketplace, or not months of inventory. amount of homes coming for sale is the same.
Yes.
Market's moving faster.
Yeah. Same number of transactions.
Same
though,
number
'cause
of
it's a smaller
transactions.
town, right? So
Yeah.
less transactions.
Yep. I've added salespeople at the end of this year, but they're not net effective yet.
Yeah.
Like they're not really producing. We haven't added a lot of transactions from team members. When you
Yes.
look at our core group of people are still there from last year. And I think one thing too, my personal production's more than doubled. I sell real estate very part-time because I coach.
Yes. Yes.
Half my week is coaching.
Yes. So help us understand if this is, again, 30 million to 60 million, that's like doubling your volume.
Yeah.
And you spent time to film,
Yeah.
right? You spent time to edit.
Yeah.
Somebody uploaded the videos,
Yeah.
and then you spent money on advertising.
Yeah.
So if you've gotten double,
Yeah.
give us do you
So-
know how much money you spent on this entire campaign, or because it's ongoing, but so far?
So on a monthly basis, I usually spend between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, depending on how much we're advertising, because we advertise our listings as well.
Right.
So I should have spent more, but that's what I've been spending.
That right there. That's my buddy Dan
100%.
Williams.
Yep.
Wait, Dan Williams, who's a chief revenue officer for
Yeah.
3 Day Blinds. He's taken the company twice where they've sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's like, Tom, I don't understand why these real estate professionals you work with, they find something that works and then they cap it.
Yeah,
Instead of saying, well, 1,000 works, go to 2,
Yeah.
go to 5, go to 10, go to 50 until diminishing returns hits.
Yeah. So I've gone from $5 a day to $10 a day to $20 a day on the market update videos. And I'm just kind of scaling that up. The video I shoot myself, it's usually like one take. It's really bad. The graphics I make in Canva and I do it in Adobe Rush. The time it takes me to make this video, I literally spend and upload it. It's like less than an hour.
Yeah.
So I've spent almost no time on it. I actually just filmed it professionally, sent it to my videographer to him to edit. So I'm going to have my first semi-professional one. So let's have it later today.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to have some results from it on Thursday. But I spend almost no time on these. Like the other one we watched in the beginning, that's like a Zoom.
Yeah, it's clear. It was clearly Zoom.
Yeah, and we do a little bit of professional content, but not really, because for me, the battle's time.
Yeah.
And, I guess one thing I'm going to figure out over the next couple months is how much better return do I get from it being professionally produced, or do I just keep doing it myself?
Right.
I'm not sure. People stick around for a minute or for 70%, 80% of the video.
So let's talk I got a lot of questions, but I want to know in the opening of your video, we talk so much about you got to hook them, right? Your thumbnail's got to be right.
Yeah.
Does any of that apply in advertising, or does it probably amplify it even more because you're putting money behind it?
I think that if organic videos are good, they're better advertised.
Yeah.
So yes, it probably matters. In my case, where there's not a lot of search queries available, I don't think it matters. And if you go through and watch all my videos, including my home tour videos, everything starts with, and I want it all really fast in the beginning. Hey, this is David Caldwell with Hillshire Realty Group. And I have one goal. You hear my name, you remember it. When you look at me, I want you to think he's nice, he's competent, and I'm willing to ask him a question. So that's my goal of every single video.
Yes.
And it's repeated over and over and over. And sometimes I'll send scripts to friends and they'll change it around, because it always starts out with, hey, this is David Caldwell with Hillshire Realty Group, or my name's David Caldwell with Hillshire Realty Group. And I always say no, because the gasoline on this is when I make my phone calls. It's when I make my contacts.
Right.
Hey, this is David Caldwell. When I can hear someone on the phone have that name recognition,
Right.
it's not a cold call anymore, it's warm.
Bingo.
So I'm using all this marketing to just warm up my database, warm up people in my community. It makes it really easy to make phone calls.
So I'm just doing I know I should be able to do this very quickly, but I'm going to take the time to do it right. So 30 million in volume, and I'm just going to assume even you just got 2.5% commission. That's still $750,000 in additional GCI, and you're only spending $1,000 to $1,500.
It's crazy ROI.
Will personally pay $5,000 in additional advertising dollars if you split the difference with me.
Deal. Yeah, I'll take that bet all day.
You guys all heard that. He said yes. Okay, done.
Tom, what's that? What was that? The marketing trainer who has the No BS books, and he just passed away like a year ago.
Oh, Chet Holmes.
No, not Chet Holmes. Okay. No. Anyways, he has a quote, and he said, "Whoever can pay the most for a client is the winner.
Right.
And this
Right.
point right here is so, it's like
Yep.
exactly what you said. You know, agents, we're not really looking at like, how much did I pay to get that client and how much profit did I make? Where they're saying, well, if you're profitable, it's just gasoline and go more.
Right.
And that's
Right.
that's that point. But that quote was so helpful
Yes.
for me to really think through.
Dan's the one that drove it home for me. But he's like, we're doing like $4,000 a month in Facebook ads. And he's like, he asked me this question: how much money would you spend to get an appointment? And I was like, $500. He's like, okay. He's like, well, how many appointments could you handle? I was like, well, I have 16 salespeople. We got 8 hours in a day. They can do 6 presentations each, but they already have their existing presentations. He's like, could you hire more salespeople? I was like, huh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I invest $350,000 a month in Facebook because I can't seem to give them enough money. Right? Plus Google, plus everything. I mean, it's just, it's after a while, you have to start saying to yourself, scale.
Whoever
scale,
can spend the
scale.
most money on client acquisition
Right.
is the winner.
100%.
Well, and I got stuck following my business plan.
Yeah.
And this is sometimes
I know.
right where
Yes.
you need a coach.
You're that
Yeah,
good?
yeah.
I got stuck following my plan.
You need a coach because like what's right in front of your face sometimes you can't see, right? Where I know if I'm on the other end with my clients, it's really easy for me to tell them to spend more money, to have more conversations, to do these things.
Right.
And yeah, I got stuck, and I got stuck a little bit in testing, but it just works.
Right.
Right. It just works.
So let's talk about conversion before we start talking about SEO and organic. So do you track it? Like you have to track and measure this stuff to know I went from X to Y.
Yeah.
But like, how are they getting to you? Are there CTAs? Are you saying call my office? Is there a special 800 number? How are they getting to you?
Yeah. So it's hard to quantify, right? This kind of marketing, but on the screen, there's a call to action button, and we've done schedule with us to Calendly, right? Direct schedule. We sometimes send them to our blog where there's the video again, like your game.
Exactly what we do.
And then contact form, and then all the homes available. And sometimes it's someone filling out that contact form. What we're really starting to do is we're starting to track our cost per click.
Yes.
And be really thoughtful about where we're sending them. And I think the next step of this is using an ad sequence within YouTube to do a customer journey with different videos within the call to action and where we're sending people. Our cost per click right now, we're not doing any forced registration, is like $4. Like on that video, we've had 15,000 views. We've only had 85 people click to go to our website. Only
85 sellers.
Only 85 who left YouTube, which YouTube does not want.
Exactly.
Right?
Very important distinction there, people.
Yeah.
Very important.
So the call to action is on the screen, right? And then, hey, YouTube lets us retarget all of our other content with people who've engaged with our content. We get come list me's. Sometimes it's the phone calls that are happening in the database because someone's on our website and, maybe they watched the video and didn't register off that. So we didn't know it was a YouTube lead. But then when we talked to them, well, I see you on YouTube all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
Exactly.
it's hard to say like, hey, it created this many come list me's, but it's created 26 listings in our target market. And I didn't want to bring in opportunities it's given us outside that market or the buy side sales that have been attached to it. Just like closed listings year to date in our target markets, because we're very, I want to work within 10 minutes from my house and my office. Like I don't want to drive 40 minutes to make a sale. Like I'm spoiled. I don't have a lot of time. Yeah. So,
can I throw a little coaching in here on this for you just to help you out?
Yes.
So one of my clients, Danny Gould, who we'll talk about, selling Silicon Valley. Shout out to Danny. Good job. We were testing a call to action on the YouTube, and he just did a text me at this number with this, he was doing data and he's all, I'll get you a value of your home or I'll tell you the value of the house that you want to buy. Right. And when we added the text me,
bingo.
Results
You made
went
a CTA.
through
yeah,
the roof.
That's what everyone wants. Is
We were Danny was generating probably I think we were like 30 leads per month when he added the text me.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It was unbelievable.
Even freeze like a QR code that
was
drives
so
it back.
easy.
But I love text because
text
again,
me.
it's but wait, there's more. If you call now, or now it's like literally infomercials now, like text this number and we'll get you an X.
Text me and we'll get you. I mean, it was killing it for Danny.
Yep.
It was amazing.
Love it. Okay, so mistakes to avoid.
I mean, the budget one for me, that's been like probably my single biggest mistake. What I've seen with coaching clients is trying to make these videos perfect.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You just have to start and be consistent. Like pick a day of the month where you're going to record it and go and always have it going.
Yep. So let me go back to the first. So the play is, what are the most important videos they need to shoot that they should be advertising? Is it how to buy, how to sell, or is it how's the market? Or is it a combination of both?
The how to buy, how to sell, or when to buy, when to sell, all those type of things. To me, that could be like one piece of content that I could advertise it for 12 months. So I think it's a staple piece, right? Because you need multiple videos to create frequency. I love the how's the market with coaching clients because it helps their confidence go up so much.
Yeah. You become the knowledge broker. You become the expert.
And hey, someone registers on my website for a home in that area, and I take my YouTube playlist on a drip campaign as one of my pieces of content that goes out to them. Right. And they go and they say I have 3 years of market update videos or 6 months or whatever. It's really, really powerful to use in other places. And I think proof of competency, we always talk about proof of success, but to me, proof of success and proof of competency are not the same thing.
I agree.
And most realtors need to really focus on showing their competency about the market so people will trust working with them because this is an advisory business.
Yes.
Right? If the big bad wolf's going to put us out of business, it's because we're glorified door openers. Right. But if we're advisors, we're going to stick around, just like there's great financial advisors and then there's people that just buy stocks through Fidelity. Right. Yeah. So, I would say, hey, what content do you want to create to attract the consumer you want might actually be the answer. Yeah. I do really good with analytical people. Right? I'm enough of a driver to tell them what to do. I do really well with an analytical person.
Give me the details. Yes.
So, look, like if you advertise you're just listed or you do, we talked about it a couple months ago, I think a digital yikes. Right. Digital yikes works for us. We love our digital yikes. It could be
Explain
just that.
It, for people that don't know what a digital yikes is or a yikes, help them understand.
Yikes is like, hey, we have a buyer for a home in your area and the buyer's looking for X with a call to action. Or we do a digital just sold where we tell the story about selling the house. Maybe we tell the story, we've sold this house multiple times. Right. And we advertise that.
Okay, love it. PF, questions before we switch gears, just about on the advertising side?
No, I love it.
Okay.
I think it's brilliant.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about
it's the next game.
It is the next game. And I must say again, the line about whoever spends the most money ultimately is going to win. And the key to this is it's not like you're spending $1 and you're losing money on it, just to be clear, like there is diminishing returns when it comes to advertising. Yep. But we're talking about it. It's like people that are doing Google local services ads right now. Yes. Like, dude, I'm killing it. Yep. I'm spending like $250 a week and my phone is just blowing up. I'm like, spend $500. Yeah. They're like, oh yes, of course I should, right? It just makes sense. Yep. Okay.
I'd say one thing just to add on with that. It's like farming. It takes time.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you. Speak more about that before we switch gears.
If you were to send out 100,000 postcards a month,
right?
You're not going to get as good of a return month 1 as you are month 12, right? And this is the same thing.
Bingo.
Because it's the frequency. It's people seeing you over and over and over and over is what's going to create the call. And it's going to start nurturing people in the research phase and then bring them to a point where they're comfortable getting in contact with you.
Yes. I almost feel like a knucklehead because I didn't say to people, by the way, if you're listening only, you need to go to my YouTube channel because this is very video first. Okay. So Patrick, who should we look out for? Maybe back up and tell us your hypothesis first, like we did with David. Okay. And then we can look at like Randi White. We can look at
Cameron and
Flemming
Shayna.
Team.
Yep. We'll go there.
So give us the hypothesis first.
So the hypothesis to me it started with the SEO. It started with, okay, I know that there's a search volume, right, for a city name.
How do you know that? How do you know that there's
because
search
I,
volume?
got into what is SEO and I got into the whole game and trying to understand. It's way too technical.
Where do you go to find that information?
Well, no. Let me finish this thought. Okay, so Big Brother,
like, no,
Big Brother, and head coach, by the way, guys. So I'm just gonna cut him off right now because we got to get to the good stuff. Okay, and so skip the SEO stuff because it's just there's too much minutia, and I don't want anyone to get lost. Get lost there. But I did realize, okay, if I type in, my city, Solana Beach, because I did what you were doing. I first was like, okay, how do I, because if our farm is Solana Beach, how am I going to digitally be there? And why is it that Zillow and Redfin and Trulia and these guys deserve to be there? How do I get my website to be there? Because I'm the local expert. So then I really got into how does that work? So that's kind of was the game. But you don't need to know the details other than knowing the fact, as what you were just saying, that people are searching for the city name. Now, that was the main hypothesis. So I was like, okay, how do we get there? Then YouTube videos was the easy point because almost no one is there on YouTube for the SEO key terms, which are moving to, living in, buying in. Those are the three terms.
Give it to us again.
Moving to, living in, buying in. So when I was doing some research early on, I was like, what do the relocation buyers to San Diego, what do they search? Because we're all in the game of the homes for sale in San Diego, homes for sale in Solana Beach. And I was like, but my perfect customer on the buy side is the relocation buyer. They're going to spend $1 million in San Diego moving from somewhere else. And I was like, move. And then I went moving to San Diego. And then one of my little search things said, 1,500 people a month search moving to San Diego. And I'm like, 1,500 people
are typing in that key search term. Exactly.
Yes.
And if we're talking TubeBuddy, you can discover, are there any videos that actually answer that question? And the answer is probably no.
Exactly. So that was kind of the entry point for me to get motivated by this thing. So then I did a ton of research and I really dug in deep on this thing. So let me just share some results because I know agents want to know the money first, and then you guys will pay attention to everything I say after that. So Randi White, which we're gonna break down here next. Randi White, year to date, 100,000 in commissions closed with 4 clients in the pipeline. We're gonna look at that, but I'm not done yet. Cameron and Shayna Flemming in Columbus, South Carolina. These two, 76,000 closed year to date, 109,000 under contract now.
Dude, I love this guy. Yes. Okay, I've seen his stuff.
Cameron and
Shayna.
He kills. I can't wait to talk about them. Now, my buddy Ryan Schramm in San Clemente. We don't have him up, but we'll talk. But Schramm has 109,000 closed right now year to date. Organic YouTube leads. 4 million, he's written offers, 4 million right now with buyers. And then Danny Gould, which we'll talk about in a minute, I don't have him up, but Danny is at 124,000 closed organic year to date. And he's got 24 million in the pipeline, meaning buyers and sellers he's met with.
Research phase, baby.
These leads. Okay, so agents, I have your attention. Yes, okay, let's talk. So here's the deal. So those 3 phrases, living in, moving to, buying in. And here's what I've discovered. As a real estate agent, if we feature the city, the neighborhood, or the community, and we feature that and talk about that in the video. So the pros and cons of living in city name neighborhood. For some weird reason, Google and YouTube, they give that phrase huge amounts of search volume. It's weird. So like I got Randy.
No, it's perfect because Google wants to control
like
the speck of dust sitting on your street. They want to be that hyper local on everything. So of course, pros and cons of living in city.
Yes. Cost of living. Okay. Then there's any variation, living in this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. That's a huge
contrast,
one. Yes. And what I found was, to me, as kind of like a consumer research behaviorist guy, like I just love studying this stuff. What I realize is, you know what? This is the information that the buyers actually want to know anyways.
Right.
They want to know what are the top 5
anybody taken the time
neighborhoods
to show
to
you-
live
Yeah,
in
right?
blank
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
They want to know what the pros and cons are. They want to know what's it like living in city, name, neighborhood, community. This is what they want to know. And so for some reason, Google and YouTube are just literally organically dishing it up. So when I look at the analytics of some of these guys' stuff, it's amazing. I'm seeing anywhere between like 50 to 100,000 impressions. So we will talk about thumbnail and title and clickability.
Yep.
50 to 100,000 impressions on you, a real estate agent, talking about the city that you sell homes in. That is amazing. It like doesn't get any better than that. And when I show people that, it's like spectacular. So another, just a very simple example is, Randy Orr, Coach Randy Orr, shout out Randy. After he saw Ryan Schramm, because we're all in the same mastermind group together, Randy's like, all right, I think I'm going to try this out. So he did 6 videos.
I got to pull
So
it
pull
up.
up Randy Orr Real
pull it up,
Estate.
yeah.
Randy did 6 videos in 5 months. And then like 2 weeks ago on the mastermind group call, he's like, all right, guys, there it is, yeah.
that actually sounds like Randy.
All right, guys, I closed my first transaction. So click on videos.
Yeah.
And then go over here to sort by. Well, actually right here, this is perfect right here. So scroll down.
Yep.
So here's a
6 things you need to know before moving to Laguna Niguel.
And so
Laguna
this-
Niguel,
so-
pros and cons.
Okay, so to
Cost
David's
of living, he did all these.
So to David's point here,
Yeah,
David was like,
relocation.
hey, in my market, there's not enough search volume.
Right.
Now, Laguna Niguel.
I don't know if there's that much search volume.
No.
Laguna Beach, maybe. Newport Beach, maybe.
Wait, excuse me. So 5 months ago, how many views did he get on the moving to Laguna Niguel in 5 months?
2.6.
So
2,600.
2,600 views 5 months ago,
Yep.
all organic, of Randy talking about the city that he lives in as a real estate agent.
Right. It's
That is
beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now, one more thing that's so incredible about YouTube organic is once someone sees that video, then YouTube does what, Tom? The next time you come back on YouTube, what happens?
You get served up another one.
They're going to show more of your videos. It is incredible. So really on the organic side, this is the game.
Look, it's
moving
like
to
no one looked at my listing, but 626 people in the last 4 months have looked at pros and cons of living in Laguna Niguel. Now, can you on one
But
page?
look at that. Look at the
No, I
cost
know.
of living was 1,300 views on the
Yes.
cost of living. That's unbelievable.
Okay, what's up with the Jiffy?
He's giving a comparison.
Well,
Hi, Randy Orr with Berkshire Hathaway. I'm a local realtor here in Laguna Niguel. Are you thinking of moving to Laguna Niguel and considering the cost of living in Orange County, specifically Laguna Niguel? Stay tuned, I'll tell you.
All right, so pause that right there. Okay. So
Okay.
let's talk one thing where everybody's getting hung up too, which because I've been talking about this for a while, and and David, I'm so glad we watched yours. I'm glad we watched Randy's. Is guys, it doesn't need to be that overly produced.
Right.
Really, like just share your knowledge and wisdom. And I love what you're saying about the competence thing is so critical. So let's go over to Randi White because I want to just kind of look at the case study of this for a second. So find Randi White's channel. Shout out to Randy in Austin, Texas.
Hold on, I got to just pull it up again.
RandiWhite, Austin Realtor. Okay, so as a brand new agent, so go to her channel, and then we're going to click on videos.
We go to most search.
And then scroll. No, don't do that. Just kind of scroll up. Just scroll up a little bit. I just want to show you guys. So when did she start doing videos? If you scroll all the way up, because when you click videos, you can see when she started.
So she's done 20 something. No, not even 20. But yeah, 24 videos.
So what she did is she did 20 videos in her first 6 months, right? And she was a new agent in Austin, not from Texas, by the way.
Even better.
Yeah, pretty normal. But what she did, which I like a lot, is she featured all the different neighborhoods and the different sections of
Pemberton
Austin.
Heights. And, this is great.
So in her
This is actually answering one of my questions. Like, can you go beyond your market if you wanted to and have all the same questions answered for each one of the markets on the same page?
Yes, and I love what David said too. Is she's demonstrating competence and knowledge of her marketplace. Now, probably as a newer, and I didn't ask her, but as a newer agent, this allowed her to also go learn about those different neighborhoods
Exactly.
and learn about the nuances, and then just present it in a video and put it up there. So now you can see, now go up to the
I like this, like where to live in East Austin, 2,400 views, right? Living in South Austin, right? 2,300 views. Living in West Austin, 3,400 views. That's really interesting. So people are like, help me understand. I'm moving to Austin, but I don't know where to live in Austin. Which one should I live in?
Exactly.
It's
so
beautiful.
in her first year after doing the 6 months of those 20 videos, I think she closed 8 transactions, all organic YouTube leads.
Right.
That was amazing. So year to date, I mean, she'll do 150,000 this year, you know, year to date, easy. And you can see she stopped doing videos for a while. So you can see 1 year and then 5 months.
Right.
And so now I got her.
Suddenly 4 days ago. Here we go.
Now I got her doing a bunch more cool stuff. And
Lake Travis.
Yeah,
Good for her.
She's having fun with it, which is great. Let's go over to Cameron and Shayna. And shout out, I would just want to give a shout out to Shayna because Cameron is the lead agent, right? He's the guy.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to get him to do video. He wouldn't do it. And Shayna, who came on to his team as his beautiful wife, she was like, all right, I'll do some videos. And so she started doing them. And then the leads started coming in. And then Cameron was like, I better start doing some videos too. It was great.
Or, hey, sweetheart, keep doing the videos. Keep up the good work.
Exactly. So scroll all the way down.
Okay.
Right. So if you scroll all the way down, you can see kind of when they started really doing the videos. And it kind of 1 year ago, you can see moving to Columbia, South Carolina. That was kind of the first one. And then she did a bunch of buying in. We did a bunch of new construction, started featuring a bunch of communities. We did some expert advice. What is earnest money? We just started kind of sprinkling in a bunch of cool stuff. And they are right now, I mean, they'll close 200,000 in commissions year to date. Now, what's the average sales price in Columbia, South Carolina? It's like 300,000.
Yeah.
So that is some
That's a lot of transactions. It's a
now,
lot of,
to David's point, I think is actually really interesting, is we do have to kind of pay attention to that if you live in a community where there's a lot of search volume, well, what does that mean? That means there's a lot of people moving to. So if you're in a moving to market in the United States or in Canada or anywhere
anywhere in the world,
please do the moving to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, but Randy Orr with the Laguna Niguel, he killed it with that. And that was what was so fascinating to me. So these case studies are now starting to really shine for me. It's like, wow, there's a lot of money on the line. So let's get after it. Living in, moving to, buying in. Okay. What questions do we have? Because I have a few things that we can discuss on this topic, but it's pretty straightforward at this point what we need to do, guys.
So I want to go to one of these. So point out for me one so we can just listen to. Again, we saw a little bit of Randy's. I want to see another example.
Go down to Shayna's early video on the moving to Columbia, South Carolina. 4 minutes. Right? And
Hey guys, it's Shayna Flemming with the Flemming team of United Real Estate.
Sitting like in her living
Today
room.
we're talking about 5 cities that are great places to live in surrounding Columbia, South Carolina. And this video starts right now.
She reached across to
Are you thinking of buying a home in the Columbia area, but you don't necessarily want to live in the city? Well, we're talking about cities in the surrounding area of Columbia, South Carolina. All right, first up is Northeast Columbia. This is going to be on the northeast side of Columbia, South Carolina, home to Fort Jackson Military Base, which is about 15 to 20 minutes of drive away. Also home to Richland 2 schools, really great schools in Richland 2. The average home price is about $172,000.
Yeah, exactly.
This area.
Okay, so
She's
here's what.
educating. Yeah.
And let's address two big questions that every agent's asking me. Okay, so here's the question they got: how long should these videos be? Okay, this is a huge question, and we have to be careful that YouTube is not social media. YouTube is not Facebook or Instagram.
It's not about 3 seconds.
No. So what's interesting?
Content's good. People will listen for 4 hours.
Yes. So what's interesting is that, and this is the point, YouTube will actually prioritize organically a 1-hour video over a 5-minute video. Now that's super interesting. So I wanted to say, be careful with too short. What we really want to focus on is satisfaction. Okay, so what does that mean? So if you do a video on the pros and cons of living in your city, community, your farm, and you under-satisfy the customer, that is going to negatively affect the organic exposure that property gives you.
Say that again.
If you don't satisfy the customer with the promise of that video, YouTube...
Like clickbait.
Yes.
Right?
Or
you actually deliver on the headline.
Yes. You've got to deliver. So I want to say something about that for a second too, because it's kind of, they're like, well, Patrick, what should I cover? Please come on, tell me the secret sauce. Like, what's the script? I'm like, I can't. Here's what I need you to do. Ryan Schramm's been doing this. He's like, Patrick, he was telling the group, he's like, I'm having so much fun doing a driving tour of San Clemente with these clients that I'm getting from YouTube who are coming to check out San Clemente. And what he's doing in that driving tour, agents, you do this all the time, is what do you explain to the customers in the car? You're like, hey, this is the cool part of town. Hey, here's where the traffic gets stuck. Hey, here's the great school district line. You need to be over here. Hey, in this community, it's that. It's all these kind of things.
It's what Christoph Chu did like 10 years ago, and now has all the videos on every ounce of every subdivision inside of Beverly Hills.
Exactly.
I think a good way to think of these videos as community Wikipedia pages.
Yes.
Right? Or community Wikipedia videos, right? Like you need a script, you need an outline, go to your community's Wikipedia page and record that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's what this is.
Now, but here's what I want to say. I 100% agree with that. But what I'm pushing my clients on is I want them to actually own the awesome stuff that they do say already.
Yes.
Like own that. Like you say great stuff. You're not recognizing that the feedback that the customer is giving you when you say, hey, let me tell you about this thing, and you explain something and they're like, wow, that was really helpful. Thank you. That's the thing.
That's the content.
That's the thing I want this to be. So like I'll brainstorm with the client. I'll be like, all right, David, tell me, what do you love about your city? What do you like about that? Well, what do you not like? And they're like, well, should I share the cons? Should I share the cons? Well, you and I talked about that on our podcast. The deal breaker stuff, the cons. When you actually say the thing that it's not and you tell the truth, trust goes up.
Right.
So the pros and cons is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, this content of like, what do you know that no one else knows?
So I'm gonna go a little deeper with you and say the thing that I'm on this kick right now. So guys, give me some feedback on this. I did my summer reboot tour, and I'm like, okay, it's 2021. I have been talking about YouTube since 2007.
Right.
How many of you have seen me speak before? All these hands go up. Who's seen my content on YouTube? Okay, you've all seen me. So this is not new information that I'm saying you should be doing videos. And they're like, no. And I'm like, and yet how many of you still have not done videos? And like 90% of the hands will go up like, it's all the same excuses. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to set it up. And what if I look bad?
Right.
So here's what I tell them. So since you don't know what to say, there is TubeBuddy will tell you things that people are searching for where there is no content. I'm like, but that doesn't solve your problem. That just gives you a little glimmer of hope of like, this is something you could probably talk about. But then I say, what if you took that keyword or that phrase or that question and you put it into Jarvis under video script, and then Jarvis writes the freaking script for you.
Yeah.
And then I say, can you read? And then people go, yes. And I'm like, okay, so the script is now written for you. And then I say, but I still get it. You're still like, but do I look good? I don't want to come across stupid. And I go, let me just be very clear with you. If you have a 9-year-old granddaughter, if you have a 11-year-old grandson, and if you don't have those, if you have a dog or a cat, your dog or your cat could film these videos for you. And then I go, do you guys know how CNN started? Do you guys know the story of how CNN was started? Prior to the launch of CNN, Ted Turner's very first news network, he hated the news so much that he wanted to mock it. This is the guy that started CNN, right? So what he did is he took a dog, put peanut butter in the mouth, and a guy sat in the corner and read the news. The dog just went,
That's funny.
right? I now have clients doing sitting with their granddaughter and saying, hey baby, how's the market? And well, grandma, in the last 14 days, we've had 4 homes going, and the views are just skyrocketing because they're making this 9-year-old the star. Or if they're like, I don't know, I've now, this one of my clients sent me a dog. It's 2 dogs talking about the market.
Yeah.
And they use the little My Talking Pet app, right? And like the mouths are moving, the eyes are moving, and I'm like, this is adorable. It's adorable. So I'm trying to remove every possible excuse.
Yeah.
But what are you guys' thoughts around TubeBuddy and then Jarvis, just to get people in action?
Man. And I'd like to hear your, because I mean, I know what I'm trying to get my clients to do to get past this uncomfortable stage, but it's very difficult. I mean, the bottom line is, guys, we get how difficult it is, but I just want you to know that you know what to say, because you're telling the buyers. When you're at an open house and they say, tell me about this neighborhood, all that stuff that you say, that's the stuff we need on the video.
Yes.
And that's the stuff that's going to cause the perfect customer to be attracted to you. And it's like, I don't know how else to help them get past that. So I'd like to hear from you. Like, are you getting people past that?
From a coach perspective, I just turn it into a conversation that we all want to start at mastery, but we can't. You have to start as a novice. And what's it look like to start as a novice and paint that picture? And the last coaching call I do every month, the 4th week of the month, it's tell me specifically why I should be a buyer or why I should be a seller in your market. Tell me specifically.
Yeah.
And don't tell me interest rates are low. They've been low for 10 years.
Right.
Tell me specifically why I should be a buyer or seller. And then they tell me, I'm like, man, it's a great video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I do that all the time.
Let's
I'd be
just
like, you know
record
that thing that you just said to me? That would be so awesome in a video. I do that all the time.
But sometimes there's that reluctancy too. And I use you as an example in my coaching all the time, Tom. I'm like, do you think that at one point Tom had a better strategy to nurture and generate clients than YouTube? Right? He probably had a better one, but we all over-index on one thing that works.
Right.
So like, think about someone you respect, or, I like using Tom, right? Like, this is nurturing.
It's all
this is getting people attracted to coaching, to get inspired to get a coach. It probably was more what you used to do meetings, right? You used to go to offices.
I do sales meetings. I would do audio recordings and email them to people in 2005.
Yeah. So
crazy.
If there's one thing to over-index on, we all know that it's video.
Right.
It's video marketing.
Right.
But we're all trying, if you're not doing it, you're over-indexing on something else that might actually be a dying trend.
Right. Right. So one of the things that I want to say to everybody that's listening right now, so we talk a lot about your Google My Business page, and under the product section or even the photo section where you can post these like 30-second videos, the argument I'm making for my clients now, the ones that are really doing videos, so I'm talking to you right now. So we've talked about with how many people as coaches, hey, you should do 30 questions in 30 days, right? What are the questions you get the most from your clients? Answer those questions, but you got to answer them in 30 seconds or less, which means the answer's got to be tight. You can't go, well, let me tell you about this story and this one situation, and like you can't even say your name, right? It's just got to be like, it's
fast.
Just, Patrick Ferry, Banana Real Estate. It's all just there. And the question is typed across the top so they can read it. They want to click on the thumbnail and then they get your answer. And I already have clients that are like, I've already shot all this. I did that on Instagram back in like January. And we started talking about it. I'm like, put those on your Google My Business page under the product section and you're going to kill. Right? So
one quick hack on this. So I've been talking about to my clients, build an office studio. So I saw an office studio, which I saw yours, right? And so right now I'm just working at my desk, right? Like my keyboard's here and I've got my little camera on top of my computer.
Right.
I've got the lights already set up on my desk. I've got my little microphone over here when I'm ready. And I've put a little background, right? So I've got a little background that's kind of cool. So I'm getting all my coaching clients to just set it up to where you can you get a good idea, you can write it down, you just hit record. And so, when he's on a Zoom, I'm just opening up Zoom. There's no one there, just hit record and it just saves it right on your thing and you're just sitting there talking, blah, blah, blah. Shut it down, download it, upload it, you're off and running. Like it's amazing. One other thing too is thumbnails are important. So on the organic game, I just want to remind you guys. So now you could still get results, but the thumbnail is critical. So I was doing some analysis with the mastermind group and a bunch of coaching clients this week, and we were looking at their YouTube studio, and we were looking at the number of impressions that YouTube was giving the agent, and then they show you the impressions to the click-through rate to the views. And one of my clients had like 100,000 impressions on one of his videos, and we had a click-through rate of 4%. And I'm like, and he's already made money off that one video.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, clearly the thumbnail is not working.
Right.
But
I was
the
just gonna say,
video
bad
is doing
thumbnail.
really well. So I'm like, imagine if you just made a better thumbnail that was more attractive, that told a better story, that called people, got people excited to click on it versus anything else. We could have went from 4,000 views to like 7,000 views, and you could have gotten like 2 or 3 clients already. So it is super important to do a little bit of research on thumbnail, what works, what doesn't, and how that little game plays. I mean, if you just go on YouTube and you just
for some people that are like, what's a thumbnail? They're like, thumbnail? No. This is like what? Right here. That's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail. That's a thumbnail. It's the first thing they see when they're on your Facebook page, on your your YouTube channel. It's that initial impression. Does Austin housing crash resonate for me? Well, 767 people. We're like, what do you mean the Austin real estate market's crashing? By the way, headlines do more to terrify than to clarify. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. So anyways, let's just make sure you guys are working on that. So if your video is underperforming, we do need to look at some of the basics of what's going on there. Now, everybody else asks like, what's the call to action, Tom? Or what's the call to action?
How do I convert?
I'm like, look, it honestly, what happens is once they watch one of your videos, then YouTube or retargets them with your other videos. And what I'm noticing right now is that my clients are like, they message me, they call me, they text message me, and they've watched 3 or 4 of your videos already. It's like, you don't have to do anything. There doesn't need to be a spectacular call to action.
They know you, they like you, they trust you. You've proven that you understand the marketplace. Help me out.
That's the power of this. You telling everybody do video that is the power. It's that trust. It's like they already got a sense of who you are from watching your videos. It's like the easiest client you've ever worked with. All my clients are freaking out. These are the best clients ever, right? And I'm sure you're experiencing that because they've already watched like 2, 3, 4 of your videos.
They just basically, you sit down. It's the epitome of a come list me.
Yes.
Just tell me what to do. I've heard that more in the last year than ever before.
Because you're the authority.
We talked a little bit about time-saving videos. So
yeah.
Great story. So, and you probably experienced this, but Chris Brower over in Layton, Utah. So he's been doing some videos, and he did a like how to prepare your house to sell, and he's been doing the housing market update. He gets a call from a past client. Hey, Chris, we're thinking about selling our house. That was good. He shows up and he says, hey guys, first thing we need to do is let's just go around the house. Let's talk a little bit about what to do to prepare the home. They go, don't worry, Chris. We watched your video. We took notes. We just have a few questions for you. That was great. So then he sits down at the table and said, guys, let's talk about the market for a second. And they said, don't worry, Chris. We watched your videos. We already know what's up with the market. Just tell us what to do and we'll do it.
How should we price it? What do we need to do to get the most?
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
It's the power of video.
Demonstrating competence. I'm stealing that because
Steal it.
But let's go back to, we were talking about it earlier. Do you remember Kurt Wanabo, right? So Kurt's still alive. Big shout out to Kurt. Kurt, longtime client, San Diego, California. He was known as Short Sale Kurt. We were running television ads with Kurt upside down and the house upside down in 2007. Home prices upside down, right? It was campy and hysterical, but the phone rang off the hook and traffic was bonkers on his website. But the challenge was time-saving videos. He's like, we're on a coaching session one day, and he's like, Coach, I get the same questions. Oh, I'm like, that's an opportunity. Like, what questions did you get? Well, they always kind of say, no. What questions do they ask? It was 7 questions. We answered on video, all 7 of those questions. And when people would call in and say, I'd like to schedule time to talk to Kurt. Great, I'm going to send you a link. Watch the 7 videos so you're prepared. And by the time they got to him, they're like, okay, where do we start? What do we need to do?
I just thought about a little hack that maybe I'll share. Our Selling Your Home with Hillshire Realty Group. In NAR's Home Buyer and Seller Survey, it gives the top things that sellers are looking for, and it just covers all of those things. in order.
That's
in order,
perfect.
In order.
What we do for our clients is 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7.
That's literally what.
Do you
that,
acknowledge
that's what
the
that video
NAR
is.
report?
No.
Even better.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need to.
There's tons of B-roll. It's like us talking
Right.
with each other. I guess the first thing we say, because I can't list everything, is
Yes.
We hire competent. I talk about the agents on my team.
Yes.
And then we go through all the things that we do, which
Yeah.
is just that report.
Yeah.
The scripts are everywhere if you look for them.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, content is never, it's what to say is never the issue. It's how do you get over the psychology of being on video?
Yeah.
Do I look good? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Like, am I going to screw things up? The answer is yes, you are. And you look amazing. Don't scare your clients, by the way. If they don't know what you look like and you show up, that could be weird.
I think for me too was like once I started doing my YouTube videos, and this was just for my coaching clients.
Sure.
I was like, I just want to do some YouTube videos for my coaching clients. I want to see what this thing's all about. I kind of got to get in there and figure this thing out. But I noticed for me, after I did a bunch, I just started getting more comfortable.
Of course.
We all know that it's like, look, your first 10 are not going to be good, and it's perfectly okay. Yeah. But it's really like when you get to your 20th video, your 30th, your 40th video, it actually starts getting really good. So guys, you just got to just get over it. Just
Novice to mastery.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back to find, because I have, I don't know, maybe 2,800 videos, something like that. If you go back to some of my early videos where I'm like standing in what became my mother-in-law's bedroom, right? Because it was the only place where I could take a lamp.
Yeah.
Ian, my producer will appreciate Ray. I took a lamp. I took the top of the lamp shade
Oh, yeah.
off.
I've done that.
And I kind of angled it on the bed.
Yeah.
So it looked at me like
Yeah.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
But some of those videos have like 15,000, 20, but that's how it started, right? Now I'm inside the studio, right? We got all these producers, we got all this energy, but the reality is you just got to start. You said it earlier, like think about, you want to get to mastery, but you got to start at novice.
And it's, I would say for, to me, I quote you a lot on the sweat equity first.
Yes.
Then we'll follow that up with the check equity. Because I'm like, okay, can we make some money with the sweat equity and then reinvest for your videographer, reinvest some of that money and then make it significantly better? But like start with just the basics.
Dude, look at these.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like wearing a hat,
Hey, this
wearing like a
6 views, 4 views.
I don't even know if these. The new pivot ad. Okay, so those I don't even know if those were ever even published, but they're still up there. I can still see
they're
them.
still public.
Yeah.
Oh, are they? That's hysterical.
Because we're just looking.
Oh, look at this. Look at a year. Okay, I'm only a year ago. Like I have a lot of videos. Courtney crushes. She is so bonkers. So good with social. How's the market? On and on. I guess you probably go to playlists and all that kind of stuff. How many videos do I actually have? I'm going to look really fast here. Looking at my own page.
Well, if
details.
you go to home and then we'll look at your YouTube or your TubeBuddy analytics. It'll tell us how many videos.
Okay,
I think.
good.
Kind of get lost in the minutia versus.
Oh, look, this is on my video. There, Patrick Ferry.
1,420 videos.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I thought it was way more than that.
What do you mean more than that?
I'm lame-o. All right, I'm gonna step in.
I thought I heard myself talking earlier.
That's one handsome guy there. All right, we're gonna totally have to get that off the front page of my YouTube channel. No. All right, so as we wrap this up, a lot of value here. Closing thoughts, right? So you're advertising, you're going SEO. I would argue people should do both.
Yeah.
That's my next move because I want that for farming. So for geo farming, this is the game right there. Yep. And then the other thing that Jason Pantana was talking about is how do you take one of your really good organic videos and then run it as an ad?
For sure.
And so that's
You just run it as an ad.
yeah, that's what.
So Google dynamic advertising.
Yeah,
right?
look,
That's my next
Yeah.
move.
Yep.
I want to figure that out. And then where you need to up your game with is your organic because once they're coming to your channel, they're not seeing the other videos or they are and they're not.
We got the community Wikipedia videos coming.
Okay, good.
They're in
That's
the works.
good.
All right, good.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah.
I think everybody listening should
Skateboard
do
video tours.
Yeah.
Are you really doing
Skateboard
skateboard?
neighborhood
Electric
tours.
skateboard?
No, just my regular skateboard
yeah,
neighborhood
even
tour. Yeah.
I can already hear it.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna start with like the old.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna have to be like some aerial B-roll on the
Get
skateboard.
an electric
Yeah.
skateboard.
Yeah.
you guys are crazy.
I'll ride.
You guys
I'll
are
ride with you, and then I'll film.
Okay, deal.
Okay, and I won't. All right, because I will fall, as I've done too many times on a skateboard. All right, so fellas, thank you guys so much. For my friends out there watching, make sure you follow these guys, connect with them, go to their YouTube channels, go to all the YouTube channels we were discussing today. But at the end of the day, we live in a video-first world. Start. Just start. That's what it's all about. All right, fellas, thank you guys so much. Give us some comments. Let us know how we can do even more. What other things you want us to cover. We are here to serve. See you soon.